Okay.
Carlos, I'm so sorry. This is the second time we're gonna record the interview.
No problem.
But the first time we tried, I didn't push the button. That, the story of my life. That everything is ready, but
It's okay.
Carlos Boltes. Well, thank you very much for working with us again. We've done this a few times before. We know each other for quite a few years now. We played soccer together.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was very good.
Yeah, maybe we can play tennis now.
Maybe. You look great.
Thank you.
You look fantastic. And I think the community observes your career and the Alturas Duo career with great interest. So let's talk about the culture of Chile a little bit, because it's for me, from an Eastern European immigrant, South American culture, and Chile in particular, is something that I recognize, I hear, but I don't know very much about. So in a few words, would you be so kind to tell us what is it? The music of Chile is da 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 da.
Well, in Chile we have all kinds of music, so popular and classical and folk. So I imagine you are referring to folk.
I want
music
to know what
in
inspires you. I want to know where you come from, and we want to know who Carlos Boltes is, musically speaking. Where did Carlos Boltes come from? Because you are a wonderful charango player. You're also a violist. We know that you are very well renowned as a Chilean folk musician here, but you bring such a richness of experience.
Well, I started to play charango when I was a kid. And was also related with a political situation in Chile. We couldn't play these instruments in public because it was forbidden by the dictatorship. These instruments were related to the previous government, Salvador Allende, who support folk music, and especially the Nueva Canción Chilena, the new Chilean song. That was a counterpart to popular music, pop music. That, according to some exponents of this music, they say, well, pop music, they just talk about light things that doesn't matter to any of us, and was born this movement to say things through the music and through folk music. Folk music that belonged to the people of Chile.
But that was supported by the government?
By the government.
Okay.
That was the thing. And that was from the 60s until the beginning of the 70s, when Pinochet took power and tried to erase all of that. He killed some of the artists of that time, including Victor Jara, we're going to talk later, because the concerto that we're going to perform is based on music of Victor Jara.
Yeah.
Well, I started to play charango at home. Everybody, my brothers, especially my older brother, bring folk instrument. About this, you cannot take it out of the house. Right here, we play right here. No. After a while, some musicians that play this music decide to play classical music.
On charango.
On charangos, on zampoñas, on quenas. And that opened a window for all of us, that we were dedicating our time to play this instrument. And that group became very successful, playing only classical music, and start to play in churches and open places. Now, the interesting thing about that combination is the conductor, Jaime Soto. He mixed European music with the folk tradition of Chile, and I think you want to mention a bit of that. Chilean music is very interesting. We have three main regions. It's north, center, and south, because it's a very long country. You have to be skinny, otherwise you don't fit there. So north is influenced by the Incas and all that tradition of pre-Columbian music, basically. Then we have the center, where it's used to be more cosmopolitan. I mean, we have Valparaiso, all the ships that go to even has to come to United States, to California. They went to Cape Horn, Valparaiso, Lima, California. So we have a lot of influence, European influence there. And south of Chile, the native people from south of Chile, the Araucanos or Mapuches, they have their own culture for millennia and all mix there.
What's interesting is that what you're mentioning is the classical music. You mentioned Vivaldi, Bach in our previous conversations. So that is also to some degree a folk music of those countries.
Very good.
Because Vivaldi is definitely based in a great way, to a great degree, on Italian folk music.
Of course.
And of course, Bach is so
the suites are all dances.
Exactly. So it's interesting to see the different cultures sort of cross-pollinating the inspirations, you know?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And also included the charango. It's a mix of cultures and instruments that arrived from the European culture to South America. So it was the guitar and the Baroque guitar, the bandurrias, the mandolins.
Yeah.
And the native people really loved that instruments instead to reject them because they were, I mean, invaders, let's say.
Yeah, but they were still instruments.
But they brought music, they brought art, and the native love it, and they try to assimilate that.
Of course.